A month ago, I shared a progress video about my 6 months of ownership, daily driving my 1993 Volvo 240. And despite the wonderful interest and support, I didn't have a whole lot to report with 6 months of ownership. But not long after I published that update, things started to change. So let's hop into this legendary Volvo, hit the open road, and talk. So while I'm only now at 7 months of ownership, I've spent more in the last month than ever before on this vehicle. I was under my vehicle after an oil change, and among the regular old car leakage that I've been keeping an eye on, I spotted the recognizable sight of coolant dried up near the front of the engine. And upon closer inspection, I saw some more slight residue from the weep hole on the bottom of the water pump, meaning that it was starting to leak. So I could have gone the cheapest route if needed, but I figured the proper thing at the time would be to replace the timing belt while the water pump was replaced. So I opened IPD's website and made an order for the water pump, thermostat, and timing belt kit. Everything related went in my cart. After shipping, the total was $600. And since I wanted it done professionally, I paid another $550 for labor. That is $1,150 total for the full water pump and timing belt refresh. And now it's set for another 100,000 kilometers, which is the awesome thing. While it was a large cost to dish out, I've had 7 months of carefree ownership, and it accounts to only $95 a month since I've owned it that covers that recent job. While some costs are sudden and more expensive than others, for me, the savings are undeniable, and it beats paying hundreds a month steadily towards a vehicle with large purchase price, faster depreciation, or even paying interest in some cases. But don't get me wrong, it's not always the financial hack it can be made out to be. It's mainly an added bonus for car enthusiasts that already enjoy owning and driving older vehicles with character. Recently I was driving when I started hearing grinding from the front brake area. Sometimes I'd hear it, and sometimes it'd be quiet. Unfortunately, these wheels don't let you take a good look at the brakes, as you'll see. So I assumed that the brakes were at the end of their lives and starting to rub. I ended up getting hella brake pads and Brembo rotors for $175 altogether for the front. When I went to replace them though, the front brakes had tons of life left, but the calipers did look old. So regardless, I changed the brakes and gave the calipers a cleanup. Most importantly, the sliding pins that hold the pads that were rusty enough to inhibit the function. So on the 7 months of ownership, I spent $1,325 Canadian. But let's talk about the average cost of owning a new vehicle. The average annual cost of owning a new vehicle in Canada is approximately $16,000 a year, or about $1,300 a month. This is based on some recent analytics or analytical data, and reflects the full ownership experience of an average new vehicle. While costs like insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, and registration can be applied to both new and used vehicles, new cars do come with notable higher expenses in certain areas. The biggest difference is the monthly financing or lease payments, from $650 to $900 or more due to higher purchase prices. This high average does bring the numbers up, and I think most people, I hope, stay between $30,000 to $50,000 price range. But sometimes when you're making payments, that purchase price on paper doesn't seem too large or too much of a difference. New vehicles experience faster depreciation in the early years, which adds significant hidden cost of roughly $300 or $500 a month as a car loses value quickly. This is one of the biggest hidden costs when you buy a vehicle new. And in terms of the other expenses shared between vehicles old and new, such as insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, registration, as I said, these vary greatly depending on the person, the specific vehicle, with new cars taking the lead in some areas, such as gas mileage, but in some cases not. These costs tend to be on the higher side overall for newer cars as well, like insurance premiums. When you think of an older car, lots of the time you think of lots of repairs and maintenance. But in my experience, having a used older car for commuting and everything that I can fix myself and cover basic maintenance that both old and new cars will need saves me thousands of dollars by having that choice, rather than feeling the need for my dealership to do all the repairs. Taking a new car to the dealership for scheduled maintenance is usually more expensive than independent shops, of course. If I got a brand new vehicle, I'd probably want to do the same though, because lots of the cars that I've owned, even though they're old now, the first owner still bought them from dealership and maintained them at a dealership for many years, which gave the car reputable history, scheduled maintenance, and stricter scheduled maintenance. And of course, for new cars still under warranty, dealership service is most common because it helps protect your warranty, but lots of people end up switching actually to independent mechanics to save money once their warranty ends. Depreciation and your monthly payment are by far the two most expensive parts of owning a new car. Maintenance is usually minor in comparison during the first few years. Buying something a few years older than new helps you skip a lot of depreciation while still having something modern and safe. And the older you go sometimes, the more hands-on or involved with your vehicle's maintenance you're going to be getting. Like my Volvo 240 is far from perfect. I could put more money into it anytime, because until it has a full overhaul, besides the important maintenance I follow strictly, there'll always be a few little things here or there that are worn out or could need repair. When you get to the range of a 20 to 30-year-old car, it's part of the journey, and certain things you aim to fix and certain things you just choose to live with. When I had my Volvo 850, the driver heated seat did not work, but the passenger did. And the funny thing is, my Volvo 240 is the opposite. So when I had both, and my wife and I took one or the other somewhere, the car that we drove decided who was going to get the heated seat. Not that it was something that we paid a lot of attention to, but it was funny to notice. Anyways, that $1,325 bill was an investment in smooth future driving and reliability. You might think older vehicles require lots of money, but if you have a well-kept vehicle, it does well with regular maintenance like a new car, plus the occasional larger investment. Contrast that with the mental or financial load of monthly payments, costing as much as if I was fitting my Volvo 240 every month, when in reality it's every 6 months. You can start to see the trade-offs or benefits for each option. Some people are in the position to spend more with no worries, and the new car benefits outweigh the sacrifices and fit within the budget. Vehicles are transportation and liabilities. They're rarely ever investments unless they're collectors. For a guy like me in my 20s, putting that $300 to $500 a month in payments or depreciation aside monthly for the rainy day that my used, paid for, and post-depreciation car breaks down, it wins every time. And it doesn't have to be something as old as some of these vehicles. It could be 2015 plus for something with less wear and more safety and efficiency. For the 7 months that it took for my Volvo 240 to need more considerable maintenance, $1,300 worth, putting $300 aside for those months, puts aside $3,600, which easily covers that timing belt and water pump job and the brakes, even when paying a mechanic for all of it, and still leaves around $2,300 left over. As much as vehicles can be a big piece of our lives, our times in them, commuting, working on them, enjoying them as enthusiasts, they're still a small thing compared to our overall well-being. The money you get to keep can also help you maintain better nutrition, family time, experiences, trips, and even just simple peace of mind. Less financial stress equals better health overall. I definitely have to balance that car enthusiast and financially minded side of me when it comes to this. When it comes to modifications, performance upgrades, and more, you can always spend more than any car payment, no matter the vehicle. As much as I'd love to buy every Volvo 240 upgrade on IPD's website, get a new exhaust system, get a full suspension system, I try to take the conservative route and enjoy my car as it is while improving it over time reasonably. There's a lot of fulfillment when driving a vehicle like this that you've worked on and maintained, and it's just running and driving smoothly and quietly. Sometimes it's frustrating when it's not. The overall feeling of driving on an early morning in an old car, just playing tunes and enjoying the open road, can't be beat. One thing we don't always think about is the pros and cons of opportunity cost of time. A big reason that some people skip going the old car route and go straight to the dealer every time. When it comes to time opportunity cost, the trade-offs are clear for some people, demanding careers, businesses, and other responsibilities. The time required for maintenance, potential unscheduled maintenance, is time taken away from core work responsibilities, business development, family time, or already limited personal time. These things can add up for someone who's not already in the kind of stage of life or circumstances as me. Still, a good investment in maintenance can totally reduce unexpected breakdowns and long-term downtime in an old vehicle. And hands-on work provides a change from work-based tasks and provides accomplishment for some. For some, it simply means deciding whether the time spent on vehicle upkeep delivers enough value in reliability and cost savings compared to using those hours for higher priorities. Ultimately, it depends on individual circumstances, whether you're a car enthusiast, whether you have free time, or maybe none at all. Many other factors, and ultimately personal preference. Most importantly, I'd really love to hear your thoughts and experiences, whatever they might be. Leave a comment down below, and feel free to leave a like and subscribe to support my channel and to see more videos. As always, thanks for watching and safe driving, everybody.